Hi there and welcome to this video where I'm going to show you how we here at Greenshaw are using Frog to provide our students with feedback. Now the feedback, the way I like to call it, is that it's low cost sort of high quality feedback. So low cost, I mean that it doesn't really take a lot for me to do, but high quality is the fact that it's all written on top of their answers and the students can receive it pretty much instantly to their mobile phones. That's only really possible by using the Frog platform. Now the example I'm going to show you, I'm just going to open my mark book, I'm going to go to geography, and I'm going to pick an assessment. So basically the students have had 2 lessons of geography. Their third lesson is an assessment where I can see whether it is or not they've grasped the lessons that they have been taught, and if they haven't, it's can I use that information going forward to sort of inform my future teaching and future lessons. So I'm going to click this student's answer over here. His first one is just written C and E. That's because the questions asked him to pick 2 of the following statements. I'm not going to bother marking that because they're going to get a mark scheme. They can look at whether that's right or wrong. In this case, that is actually right, but they can do that. I don't need to provide feedback on a binary answer like that. Number 2, the question was, using figure 10 and your own understanding, suggest how the proposed water transfer schemes will help meet the changing demand for water in the UK. Now the student has written, the water schemes will allow excess water from surplus areas, that's a good key term, let me just put that there to remind me to come back, such as Scotland and Wales, to be transported to areas that are in high demand, such as London and Oxford, which expects a population boom via aqueducts and transport links. Right, so the first thing here is that he's used a key term here, and that's really good. So I'm going to write here, good use of key term. And I need to make sure to click the Add button, otherwise it won't save at the end of this. He has used the figure by saying there is a population boom, which he's got from the figure. However, it would be much more beneficial if he had actually given some of that population data. So for example, we want to know what the population of London, Oxford is going to be like in the future. So I'm going to put in here, even better if, add in some population data from the figure. There we are. And because it's positioned there, he knows exactly what it is I'm talking about. Number 3, the question was, give 2 reasons why the use of coal has decreased between 1985 and 2015. This student has written, people have obstructed, I think he means objected. Let me get a question mark straight away. Did you mean objected? Against the use of coal to its devoting emissions of CO2. That does make sense, but I wouldn't personally use that word. And to source it, you would have to destroy countless habitat. Good. Right, I'm just going to pick up on that word devoting there. Giving another question mark. Make sure I click add. Right. Devoting, I consider a different word. But otherwise the rest of the question is really good. Number 4, he was asked, with the help of figures 9 and 10, explain why the process of fracking for gas causes conflict between different groups of people. Now this is an ordinary 6-mark answer, but as I said, I'm not going to give marks, I'm just going to feedback on the actual knowledge that's within the answer here. So, people may agree with fracking because it is more friendly towards the climate, emitting less harmful chemicals into the atmosphere. Okay, we need to go a little bit further with that. So I'm going to put on here atmosphere. I'm going to write so what, because I want him to lead on to how does this lack of chemical pollution help the atmosphere. Add. How some people see negative effects like the destruction of habitat and contamination of water. Some people see negative effects like the destruction of habitat and contamination of water. Seeing as most frackable places are in populated areas, this would affect filtering and people bathing would be ill. What I think he means is the filtered drinking water although if it's filtered that's probably not necessarily going to be an issue, and neither would it for people bathing in the water. So what I am going to write is I'm going to give them a big EBI because I'm just going to write one here in the end. So I think that's a good idea about people getting ill. However, this is unlikely to occur from filtered water or from sitting in a bath. This would be more likely to happen to people who get water from wells. And actually that wouldn't make sense as an EBI, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit that. I'm going to copy, because I haven't framed that in the form of an EBI, so I'm going to delete. What that would actually be better as is I'll put a question mark. This is why it's really good that we could just swap all these stickers around and these stickers actually mean something. And now I'm going to frame an EBI, because what would have been a lot better is if he'd really gone forward with thinking about the positives and the negatives and sort of balanced that argument. So what I'm going to write is I would like to see more of your argument are focused on positives and negatives equally. You could consider how fracking would allow the UK to become more self-sufficient in terms of its energy supply. And click add. Now, what I then also do for all the students, after I've done that and I've put through all of these and they're all in the right places, is I would then go down here and I'm going to add a generic comment. Now this generic comment, what I like to do is, after I've marked all the students' work, which in this case I have, now I've come back to this one just to do it as an example, I sort of provide a message to all of them just to give them a brief overview of what everyone was sort of having misconceptions on or what people did really well on. So I'm just going to copy it instead of me having to type it. So I've already pre-written this out. I'll put it in there. So I've got message to all students, and overall I was really impressed with some of your answers. I find that it's really good to put in sort of a positive here, because what can happen, as you can see here, is I've got lots of even better ifs and that kind of stuff, and it doesn't necessarily look too positive. However, I do want the students to know that I was actually impressed. We're just trying to look at how we can better improve those answers. And down here I've got some of the pointers that we could add here, and I'll just drag me away. I'll click add, and then at the end I would click save, and that feedback has now been saved and it is there for the student to then look back at pretty much instantly. Anyway, thank you for watching this video and I hope you find it useful.